Hi, and welcome to tonight's show. You're with Tom, and Brian, because Steve isn't here. We're from the Sidelines. Oh, this is really bad. We miss Steve already.
So sadly, our good friend Steve has had a bit of a mishap, and he's severely injured his knee, so he's out of action at the moment. But he's kindly helped us set up, and
we're ready to go.
We are ready to go.
It's going to be a quick, short show this week because Steve won't be interrupting us continually.
I beg your pardon, you're still here.
All right, so we're going to talk about the round of football that was and the round that is to come. And there's been some interesting developments during the week that we'll also throw our 2 cents worth in. And we're just your average fans, so don't blame us because our opinions are right. Okay. Did you like that one? I like that one.
Move on.
We're going to start off with the first game, which was on Thursday night at Acor Stadium. Mm-hmm. It was the Bunnies taking on the Storm, with the Storm victorious 28-16.
Yeah.
Now, usually we would turn to Steve and say, Steve, but he's not here.
Yep.
So, Tom, what do you think?
Look, I thought that South were brave, I think, in the game. I think Melbourne are winning games, there's no doubt about that, and they're where they are for a reason, but I think that they're just a little off. I'd probably say the same about the Premiers as well. Not quite firing right, and they should have buried this game, I think, a long time before. And in fact, when you look at the scoring, Melbourne didn't score after the 41st minute. I think Bellamy would be a bit concerned about that.
Yeah, it concerns me a little bit that it was only 12 points, and the Bunnies were actually not very good. They kept giving the ball back to the Storm.
Yeah.
And apart from a few little pieces of brilliance, I would be disappointed. I was actually disappointed in the Storm. That could have been 50 or 60.
You would have expected that, yes.
Jai Gray was excellent. We had another brain snap from Steve's favourite player in the centres. Can't remember his name. The guy that he doesn't like.
For his team?
Yeah.
Milne.
Tane Milne, that's him. I couldn't remember Tane Milne. Who just decided to trip Ryan Pappenhausen on the way past after play had been stopped. Like, how can you be that dumb? Anyway, we'll talk about dumb moments later. So, anyway, it was well played Bunnies, and commiserations on the loss, and you're out of the finals. Not that they were ever in it. The next game, first on Friday night, was the Titans taking on the Sharks. And let me just tell you, at 0 points to the Titans, that's a bit of a shock. 44-0 up on the Gold Coast.
Titans will pass. Seriously, they were awful. They were absolutely awful. I mean, got to give it to the Sharks. They took their opportunities. They were pretty sleek. They were good in defence. But the Titans, I don't know what happened to that performance from last week. They put on 38 points or something in the second half, and they're always known as a team that can score points. So I don't know what happened there. They were just terrible.
They were terrible, and that was the Sharks without their first choice halves combination.
Yes.
Which meant their young hooker had to play in the halves for the first time.
Isn't he a quality player?
Oh, absolutely.
Blake Brayley, he's a quality player. Yeah.
So, what is there anything to say about the Storm there, about the Titans there, Tom?
They were awful, and I didn't watch the press conference, but I'm sure Desi will have some very, very choice words to say to them this week.
You can only blow up so much. Yeah, look, I've got no idea what went wrong. The Sharks just were clinical. Their attack and defence was exceptional. They were probably the best team of the weekend, I think.
Yep.
Let's talk about the second game on Friday night, where the Parramatta Eels at CommBank Stadium went down 34-36 to the Panthers.
That was Look, you've got to give it to the Panthers. They know how to finish games, but they were not in this game. For most of it, I think the Eels were in command of this game. I think just ahead, just doing enough. And given who they've got out, I thought it was a pretty decent performance. But I think they were down 16 points when the Panthers.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They just go right third gear. Let's go. unbelievable. And the Eels, I don't know what happened. They just dropped their guard. Maybe they thought they were home. But the Panthers just don't know how to quit. And
the Panthers can do it. See, in the modern game, a little bit of possession, a couple of 6 agains, and you can score 3 tries in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And how hard is this for me to say? I don't think it's necessarily a poor reflection on Parramatta. I really don't. They and I don't think they took their foot off. I just think the Panthers went, bang, let's go wide, see if we can go around them, and they did. And then they did it again, and then they did it again.
Well, and I think actually they were in such close proximity to those tries that in fact I don't think the Eels touched the ball for about 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Panthers just scored 3 times.
That's the modern game, and I don't think it's a poor indication of a team when you get an attacking dynamo like the Panthers coming at you and you lose in 10 minutes.
But it's heartbreaking for the Eels team who've been pretty ordinary this year and have been without Moses for a lot of it, and to actually put in that performance against the Premiers was, I think, commendable. It just, in the end, the Panthers did what the Panthers do, and
took it by the scruff of the neck and
said.
Threw it away.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Super Saturday. What a game! Raiders 24, Sea Eagles 46.
Don't give him the hosting role, seriously.
What a mighty win that was.
Yeah.
Tom goes, I didn't watch that game.
Well, I don't. I think I watched the highlights.
Oh.
I was on my tractor.
So Steve's got a busted leg, so he didn't see the game. Tom, he didn't care, and the Sea Eagles mopped up the Raiders. It was an interesting game.
Yep.
It really was. Big Popper going over in the 9th, 10th minute in his 300th.
Yep.
Was exceptional, and then they basically went try for try. The Raiders were, I will say, the better team in the first half. And then Manly scored with a minute to go to take the lead into half time. And then just...
It was all Manly
just
after that.
Blew them away in the second half.
Yeah.
There was an incident in this game where... football players, honestly... I know that coaches say, we don't coach them to milk the penalties.
Yeah.
I call bull on that. So there was an incident in this game where the first incident that will probably be forever forgotten because of Tarpany, Luke Brooks got the ball and he scooted across field, infield, and then up. And you saw Jamal Fogarty put his hands in the air and then run into Jake. Like not at Luke Brooks. He put his hands in the air and then ran into a player. And so straight away the ref has to go, that's a penalty. That was a terrible moment because at no point was Jamal Fogarty going to catch him. At no point was he impeded, but he saw the opportunity for a penalty and he took it.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it, when you see that?
A couple of minutes later, Luke Brooks is making a tackle. Player goes up in the air, player comes down. Ref calls play on. It gets referred to the bunker. The bunker goes, nothing in it. He didn't have a hold of the player. Now, my personal thoughts are, I thought he put him above the horizontal. And he came down on his arm. So therefore, I think it should have been a penalty. That's me as a football supporter. I'm glad it wasn't. But Joe Tapani, I love him. I think he's a great football player. But when the ref says play on, you refer it. The video ref says play on, and then you're still mouthing off at the ref. You deserve 10 in the bin. And that 10 in the bin cost them 3 tries.
Right.
And so at that point, your game's over.
As
I said, 3 tries in 10 minutes. It doesn't take much to turn the game around, and I think that that game rests firmly on Joe Tarpany. And look, the Raiders won the penalty count. They won the 6 agains. They won the ruck infringements. They won everything. And Ricky's still saying, the ref was influenced. By what? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go under the radar. The second game on Thursday, Saturday, sorry. The Cows 18 being put away by the Broncos 42.
I thought that would have been a closer game, and I thought I would have tipped the Cowboys. I think, especially up at North Queensland. What I did see of this game, the Broncos looked like they showed a little bit of the class that they have had in the past. I think Tony Stanks is having a fantastic season, isn't he?
Oh, wow.
He's pulled them out of the fire a few times.
And he did it in this game too.
Yeah, he's been terrific.
He was exceptional. His defence, his attack, his leadership on the field. Yeah, and I would probably say at this moment in time, he's probably the form centre. Mm-hmm. He is just exceptional. And the Cows, they just didn't.
They haven't impressed all year. They've had some good games.
Yep.
And they've had some shockers. They'll be. I don't know where they are in the 8, but I think they'll be lucky to make any headway in the finals.
Yeah, look, the Cows were in it until Nanai went off.
Right.
And when he went off, they fell apart.
Yeah.
And I find it really, and it's interesting because I really like Jeremiah Nanai, but he's such a glue in that team.
Yeah.
It blows me away that a second rower can have that much impact on the team's attack and defence.
Well, certainly in the 10, he's destructive in the 10.
Yeah.
Running onto the ball.
And the worst thing about this game? Oh, the Broncos are back. We're going to make the 8. We're going to make a late run. We'll win the comp from 8th. Oh, my goodness. So, Mitch, I know that you listen to the show. You're right. When the Broncos lose, Australia wins. Let's move... It's true. Let's move on to the last game on Saturday where the Dragons went down 10 to the Bulldogs 28.
Yes. Broncos the Dogs, they're just impressive, aren't they? The defence is really good, and Toby Sexton's having a tremendous end of the season.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of settling going on there with that team. I think Burton's finding his niche, not given the full responsibilities of in the halves now. Toby Sexton's lifting.
Yep.
He's picking up his game. Bronson Sherry's had a tremendous season. But all their players are contributing. I don't think there's a bad player in that team at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of self-belief, and I think I think Serraldo, people like Serraldo and Crighton have to take a lot of credit for that. I think they've really given belief to that team, and they're flying high at the moment.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of teams in the 8 during the finals who'll be afraid of facing them.
Yeah. Look, it is interesting. I heard that I think it was Cooper Cronk during the week, and I don't usually take much notice of Cooper Cronk because he's so biased. But he made an interesting comment. He said teams don't win games when when everybody's playing and somebody's a 10 out of 10. He said they win games when everybody is a 7 or 8.
Yep.
The Bulldogs are the perfect example of an 8 out of 10 team.
Yep.
You run through their team, every player contributes, everyone does their job.
Yep.
There, as you said, there are no superstars. There's no absolute standouts. Some players 8 is better than other players 8s.
Sure.
But they all contribute and nobody stops.
Yep.
Josh Curran doesn't stop. Stephen Crichton doesn't stop. Toby Sexton doesn't stop. They compete for everything. And they give it 8 out of 10 in every minute of every game. And that's scary.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
And the poor old Dragons. Too inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, they beat Melbourne. Well, admittedly, Melbourne aren't at their best, but they beat Melbourne in Melbourne last week, which is a pretty big win.
Yeah.
But, I'd say Flanagan looks very concerned about this whole consistency in his team. I mean, I also need to think too that the Dragons were in a pretty ordinary place last season. He's brought them quite a considerable distance, but probably had higher hopes. Especially seeing what the Dogs have done, from being the team giving away the most points last year to virtually reversing that completely. He probably sees this team as going the same direction, and they're not up to it at this stage.
Well, in saying that, it's a big turnaround from last year. Like most people were picking the Dragons for the spoon.
Yeah, didn't think they'd get the spoon, but I thought they'd be in the bottom four. So I think they have progressed a long way.
Yeah, something to be happy about if you're a Dragons fan.
For sure.
All right, we know you're out there. Apparently, there's a lot of you. Let's move on to Suncorp Stadium on Sunday, where the Dolphins 34 accounted for the Warriors 32.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know Wayne Bennett is not a fan of extra time. Mm-hmm. Wonder if we could get his opinion now.
Well, apparently he was asked. I didn't see this game. I did hear on the press conference that they asked him if do you like golden point now or extra, field goal extra time, and he said no, still hate it, but he'll take the win, of course. I mean, you're still allowed to have an opinion if your team.
Oh yeah.
If your team, I mean, he didn't say take a field goal. The team decided to do that. He said he still hates it. But for O'Sullivan, I didn't see the kick, but O'Sullivan to kick a 2-point field goal. Yeah, he's not a big guy. He must have struck it sweetly.
Look, this was an interesting game. I didn't mind this. Everything being even, and yeah, the scores went 1-for-1. It was a really entertaining game. Mm-hmm. The thing that worries me is that the Warriors are out of contention, and Sean Johnson didn't play, and they were good.
Yeah, man,
I am a Sean Johnson fan, but I don't know what it is.
I think it's time. I think unfortunately it's just time for Sean Johnson. And
but
it's good that he's announcing his retirement.
And it does make me wonder: are the Dolphins ready? Because they're sitting thereabouts, but they should have put the Warriors to bed. So I think the concern for the Queensland teams are, I don't know whether they're there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we move to the last game of the round, where the Knights 34 accounted for the poor old West Tigers 18.
Anything much to say about this game?
Fletcher
Sharp scores 4 tries.
Yeah, Fletcher Sharp was good. He was Johnny on the spot.
Winger?
Yeah, he played on the wing. I thought in this game, Tyson Frizzell was massive. I know he's an older guy, but he goes as hard in the first minute as he does in the 80th.
He's one of those guys who's in 8 every week.
Yep.
I think.
He is exceptional. I think if he wasn't there, the Knights lose. Right. That's how influential I think he is on that team. Kalen Ponga was good. Fletcher Sharp, you can't score 4 tries without being, reasonable. I did think, I haven't seen the press conferences, but if you are a Tigers fan, you must be thinking, my goodness, can't we get a call go our way?
Yeah. Yep.
It was like everything went the Knights' way. It was pretty terrible if you're a Tigers fan.
Yeah.
But the less said about that, the better. All right, we're going to move on to the ladder.
Yep. Was there any buys? Oh, we had a buy.
Yeah, the Roosters. But no one cares about that.
Are you calling it?
No, you do.
All right. So, as we've had for several weeks now, the Storm are on top on 38 points alone. Panthers in second on 36, then a 4-point gap to the Roosters, and the Sharks making up the top 4. Dogs, Eagles, Cowboys, and Dolphins make up the rest of the 8. Just out of the 8 are the Dragons, the Knights, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Titans, the Warriors, and the Rabbitohs, the Eels, and the West Tigers make up the rest of the ladder.
So, Tom.
Yes.
Is there anyone else that we put a line through this week?
Yep. I don't think the Titans can get there.
Raiders? So do we go the teams that are 1 win out?
Yeah.
Do we say, they're a chance?
Well, you'd have to look at, the Knights I can see are playing the Sharks next week, so they're no chance, I don't think, of winning that game. And then they've got 3 more games they have to win, all of them. You're probably right. I think one game out of the 8 is probably there. You look at the teams that are in the 8, they're not teams that you think are going to drop the ball suddenly. Look, the Cowboys and the Dolphins, they're a bit mixed, aren't they?
I'd like the Cowboys and the Dolphins to drop out.
Right. Who would you like up?
I don't care. Just none of the Queensland teams would be nice.
Okay.
I'm not biased at all.
You're reading like a book, aren't you? Honestly, jeez.
Yeah, and I wish the Tigers would hurry up and get a couple of wins.
Yeah.
My goodness. And I say that in sincerity because they just deserve it. They are so happy.
They still got to buy.
Yeah. I think they have a buy in the last round.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
not going to do them any good.
Yeah.
Because Parramatta are going to win some more games, I reckon. They played really well.
And the Cowboys have got to buy too, coming up, maybe next week. Interesting.
All right. Let's move to some controversy during the week, Tom.
Yep.
Controversy during the week.
Okay.
So, during the week, in the Bulldogs-Dragons game, there was a bit of a nibble.
Well, you think so.
Well, hang on a second. There was a tackle made where a player got up and their nose was bloody because it had been in someone's mouth and they'd bitten it.
Well, you're using the evidence you want to prove your point.
Crighton
tackles and stays on Flanagan for about 5 minutes. Hits him in the chest.
Did you watch it in real time? It was instantaneous. It was like 3 seconds.
And then shoves his head right down against his face, shoves his nose in his mouth, and basically, tickles his tonsils with it. And what's Kyle Flanagan doing? I don't think he bit him. I think he actually got pushed. His nose got pushed against his teeth. That is possible.
He went like this. That's the end of it. That's a bite.
Maybe he wasn't breathing. Maybe he couldn't breathe.
Oh, please.
Anyway, he's going to the judiciary tonight, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I believe, if the news is correct, that in fact, and I did put this on the Facebook page, that I had said that Crichton was a bit of a Pinocchio, because I thought that he was telling lies about claiming he got bitten. But apparently it happened after the game that in fact his team management looked at the video and said that it was a bite.
Yep.
So I apologise to Stephen Crichton, tentatively, conditionally, until we find out the real truth, if we do.
The real truth. The dude took a bite out of his nose. It's like he drew blood with his on his nose.
If I stick my nose, no, I wouldn't do this, but if I stick my nose in your mouth and run it around your teeth, then I'm going to get those marks as well.
Well, with his mouth guard in. Only if you
he doesn't have a bottom mouth guard.
Only if I'm doing this.
No,
like Jaws.
If I put my nose and I rub it like this.
Yeah, but
and that's what he did with his face.
Nevertheless, he used his jaw to bite, and that is a bite.
That's what you think.
You saw it. No. I posted it so you could see it.
Yeah, and I still don't think it was a bite.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
Either way, I'm with James Graham on this. James Graham was the last player to be suspended for biting.
So, can you take anything he says?
Yeah. He said it's a bad look. He said it was a bad look when I did it. I deserved the time I got. That was a bite. He deserves the same time. I can't believe that some people are trying to justify it, saying, "Oh well, his nose was in his mouth. Oh, what's he supposed to do? Not bite is the answer." My goodness. Oh.
Anyway, moving on.
We do have one other incident to raise that we'll be very cautious around.
We have to be careful, yes.
We will. During the week, Latrell Mitchell has been
photographed.
Yes, photographed, and that photograph has been sent to the NRL Integrity Unit. I just want to say that that is not a good look. I know that some people are defending that action by saying it wasn't in a game, he's injured, he's not playing, it's a society issue. I really like Willie Mason's commentary on rugby league, but even he's come out and said the NRL need to educate these players. I'm sorry, if you do not know that taking illegal substances is the wrong thing to do,
if in fact that's what he did,
which it is, you can't justify that. If you believe that taking illegal substances is okay and the right look for rugby league with the contract that you sign, I've got no response at all for you other than to just shake my head and go, come on, seriously. That's all.
So the important thing to say is that it's not been absolutely proven that it was an illegal substance, though. all of the evidence looks a little damning, and also you also question. Look, I'm not going to defend Latrell if he's guilty, but you also wonder about the motivation about of people taking these photos. It's much the same, in the same degree as Mitchell Pearce.
Yep.
Somebody wanted to get $1 out of it. Apparently, I think Phil Rothfield said that he was approached with the photo and he wouldn't. They have a policy where they don't pay people for that sort of stuff. Although they did post it eventually because they realised their competitors had got it. But they didn't pay. The guy didn't get paid for it.
I don't get it. And there's no point calling them kids when they're in their late 20s.
No.
Like that's, I kind of get a 16-year-old, 18-year-old hanging around with, but...
Well, Latrell was doing a coaching clinic.
Yeah.
With young kids.
Yeah.
So if this in fact what it looks like, and I say that again, if it is in fact what it looks like, then what are those kids gonna glean from that? Either they're gonna say, he's betrayed me, my hero's betrayed me, or, okay, if Latrell can do it, then so can I.
Yep.
That's the real concern about these kind of incidents.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Anyway, we're happy to take your comments. Anything that is inflammatory or prejudges someone's guilt or innocence for either of those events, we'll just delete from our Facebook page. Feel free, jump on from the sidelines. We're happy to take your comments and interact with those as well.
Okay.
All right, next week. We start on Thursday with the Panthers up against the Storm.
Game of the year, I think.
Well, you'd say that if they were in form.
But they're both not quite in form, so I think it still makes it the game of the year.
Don't know about that, Tom, but yeah, it's going to be a ripper.
Oh, look, I think the Panthers are going to win this comfortably. I think personally, I think the Storm are off. The Panthers are not playing at their best, but they've shown in the last 3 weeks they can pull a game out of the fire. Earlier on in the season, Melbourne, I was really annoyed because Melbourne kept winning games at the last moment.
Yep.
With freakish sort of things. The Panthers have been pulling games out of the fire a few minutes before the end of the game with skill. And just as they say, which again annoys me, sticking to their process. But that's what they've done. They know their game. They have a chat and say, okay, let's get back to what we do best. And for that reason, I think, and added to the fact that it's also at Panther Stadium, I think that the Panthers will come away with this by a couple of tries. I think.
Ooh, that's.
I think they will.
I think just Liam Martin and Scott Sorensen out, I think is going to hurt them. Look, don't hear me wrong. I mean, but their forward pack is Leota, Smith, Geyer, Henry, I know, and Fisher Harris and Dylan Edwards are both listed on the reserves. Ooh,
yeah.
Wouldn't that be a kick if Edwards and Fish come back?
Yeah,
sure. That would be that would definitely tip the scales in Penrith's way.
Yeah.
So we're both on Penrith.
Yeah, for sure.
And Steve, we can make Steve's mind up for him.
Yeah. Well, he likes the Storm. He's always a Storm. He always goes with the Storm.
Yeah, but he's going to pick the Panthers this time.
You reckon?
Yeah, why not?
Fair enough.
With the first game on Friday, the mighty Sea Eagles, who are under Tom's radar, and the Warriors.
Yeah, the Eagles.
They are. I sent you a message. You just see that game and you go, nah, not interested. Okay, under your radar, that's fine.
Did I say not interested?
Well, something similar.
I didn't say that.
Something equally
I think
ridiculous.
I was doing something else, and it was important.
Yep.
More important than the Seagulls. So the Seagulls will win this comfortably.
Yeah, I think at Brookvale with Sean Johnson back, it's a poison chalice.
Yeah,
and I like that Josh Aloi's back. I think we're nearly there. We're nearly at as good a team as we can put on the park.
Okay. So no excuses then.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is an excuse. Chris Butler's the referee. But we won't talk about referees. And then we go to the most boring round. Actually, you know what? Can I just say, from this point on, I think everything but one game is a given.
Right.
If you have not used your joke around, use it.
Well, I haven't tipped for 3 weeks, so there's no point doing my joke.
Yeah, you're hopeless.
I don't care about tipping anymore. No, because I pick the team I think's going to win, but then I barrack for the team I want to win. So what's the point of tipping?
Roosters versus the Eels.
Yeah. Look, and about a few weeks ago, I would have said that this was a gimme for the Roosters. I still think they should win, and they should win comfortably, really. But, the Eels have taken a couple of teams to the wall lately. So
They have.
And the Roosters, unfortunately, have got an electric first 20 minutes, and then they just seem to, I don't know what goes on. So I'm a bit nervous about the next few weeks, even though the games are winnable. If they play at their best, they should win them all easily. But I'll be going the Roosters on this one.
Yeah, I'll be going the Roosters. And hear me now, Steve, Janelle, and Hayden, and anyone else who supports Parramatta who listens. I want Parramatta to win.
Of course you do.
I will be cheering for them.
Because he wants our spot. That's all.
I don't really. I don't want to finish in the top 4. I think it's scary.
Well, you get the double chance. And we first day we had our new rugby recruit, Mark Nawanganitawasi. Yeah, I did it. So he's going to start to learn the game. He needs to get a bit of rugby league defence into his game. And they're not expecting him to play this year. He'll be playing next year probably. But,
Can I just call him Mark the Wang?
they call him Marky Mark.
Right. Mark, what's his surname again?
Nawanganitawasi.
Right, Mark the Wang. Got it. The Wang will win. No, the Wang will not win because he's with the Roosters.
He's not playing. He probably won't see first grade this year. He'll probably play in second grade.
This will be a belter of a game, by the way. The next game on Saturday at Salter Oval is the Dogs versus the Dolphins.
This is because they're so close to us in the 4. I'd love to see the Dogs lose a game leading up to the finals.
They will.
This is a game you're playing. You're playing them, are you? This is a game they could lose, especially if they become complacent. But they are playing at home. I know, Salter over in Bundaberg. My goodness.
Hang on. Did you say Dogs and complacent?
Yeah.
This year.
If they get complacent.
Not this year.
Well, every team can believe their hype. Look at the Broncos. So this is played in Bundaberg, of all places, which is interesting. Look, I think the Dogs will probably win this, but I'd like to see a Dolphins victory only because it puts less pressure on my team.
Yeah, I think the Dogs will win this, and I think they'll actually win it reasonably well.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move to the game at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
They've got 4 out of their last 6 games at home.
Yeah, I know. It's not right. We've got the Cows up against the Raiders.
Yeah, at home, I think the Cows have got enough to beat the Raiders.
Interestingly enough, your new super recruit just got dropped.
Who's the super recruit?
Chad Townsend.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Chad Townsend dropped. Tom Dearden and Jake Clifford are the new halves. I don't know whether that means anything. But,
It means we made a mistake.
I reckon the Raiders are an outside chance. If this was anywhere else but Queensland, I'd be picking the Raiders.
Okay.
But, no Nanai. Oh, yeah, I'm still going to go the Cows.
Yep.
Oh, here we have a tough game. Oh, geez, where are we at? Campbelltown Sports Oval. West Tigers versus the Rabbitohs.
I give the Tigers a chance in this game.
So do I. I'm picking them. Sorry, and so Steve.
Yeah.
He told me before. Steve, if you disagree, say so.
He's going to get angry.
Well, come on. Look at their team. They've got no one left.
They're decimated. That's right. Yes.
Anyway, so we're all on the Tigers.
Tigers. Yeah.
Then we go pop down to Wynn to see the Dragons take on the Titans.
This is the toss of the coin, honestly, because the Titans could come out and have an absolute blinder this week after losing 44-0.
They could.
And Desi will have put a rocket up them. So, and the Dragons, I don't know. It's which Dragons turn up. I don't know. And it's the same with both teams, really.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Titans because I think they need to win.
I don't know. No Mo Fadawika, no Moses Sully. They're big outs for both of those clubs.
There's another... and they'll lose Flanagan, it would appear.
Yeah.
So.
That's true too. Oh, yeah. All right. No. All right. I'm just about to flip over across to the Titans.
Okay.
Hang on. Who's on the reserves? Who's going to come in for him?
It's Jack Bird. Jack Bird's playing in the halves. Jack from injury.
Yeah, Jack Bird will come back in. Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, I've decided I'm going to jump across to the Titans. Then we go down to PointsBet Stadium.
Yep.
Shark Park, where the Sharks take on the Knights.
I think even if the Sharks were average, I think they would be beating the Knights, but I think they'll be buoyed by last week. I think they may have got their combinations right last week, I think. So, they're still missing Mulatalo, Hines, Trindle,
Ueli.
Their big men. Their big men are a key though, and they've got so many big men. Their big men are a key. If they fire, then I think that frees up the little men.
All right, and that's it. That's
Broncos
all the
have a
games.
bye,
and the Donkeys have the bye.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go, and that's the week that is, and the week that will be.
Anything intelligent you want to say before we finish the show?
Tom was on fire against the Raiders, and he was an angry man.
Yeah,
and he's going to come out and be an angry man this week as well, and it'll be bye Warriors.
Okay. Well, my team is rested, and they will have worked on their terrible defence from the last few weeks, and they're going to come out and blast the Eels away. That's what I'm hoping for.
Hey, you know how Steve always says at the start, what was your highlight? Did
Yes.
you have a highlight this week?
I didn't see enough games to be able to have a highlight.
Can I just say, Jareem Buller scored a try against the Knights that I thought was nearly superhuman.
Really?
The Knights have been putting up bombs and just waiting for the Tigers to catch the ball and then belting them. The Tigers, who's their halfback? I keep forgetting their halfback's name. Not Fogarty.
Tigers?
The old guy.
Caesar.
Yeah. Puts up a bomb. Jareem Buller leapt from 40 metres out through the air, took it out of Kalen Ponga's hand, one hand catch, bring it back in, and then kept leaping to score.
Really?
It was a sensational try. I think that's how you chase a kick.
Yeah, right.
And so I was actually saving that up, but as Steve's not here, he didn't ask.
I'm glad you asked for yourself.
Go Jareem Buller. All right, that's it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Yes.
We'd love to hear from you on the Facebook page. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube. What's that other platform? I don't know. I'm an old man. Spotify. We'd love to hear what you have to say, and we value your comments and your feedback. So
and Steve hates it when you talk about him, but some well wishes for Steve would be nice.
Yeah, wish him well, because he won't last to the end of the show because he's all drugged up with his broken leg. So he won't even last. So wish him well, and he'll wonder what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. See ya.
See ya.